is Heather Pickin, and welcome to my channel, Fearless Vision. I help you to get clear on that fearless vision, break through those limitations of your mind so that you can create a life that feels fulfilled, whether it be in your business or any area of your life. I'm an expert in human behavior, and I use psychology and neuroscience to empower my clients to get results in the fastest time. So today we're going to talk about how to build your coaching business from scratch. That's right. I have helped clients go from 0 to 6 figures, 0 to 7 figures, and beyond by just showing you simple steps. I find we tend to make it complicated. And do you know the biggest blocks I find in building a business from scratch is you getting in your own way. So you might want to take notes. I'll definitely put links to other videos as we go along, other things that I reference. But I decided to create this video. I have worked with, it's interesting because there is a different mindset when I'm working with someone that has built their business from scratch, from someone that has had like maybe their first couple clients, or maybe they're making their first 6 figures. And then there's a different mindset for someone making 7 figures. So why does that happen? Well, what happens is that when you start out doing something new and you don't have a strong mental foundation, you may feel overwhelmed and you might quit. And so why I'm different than most coaches helping other people to build their business is I really work on understanding human behavior, why we take action, why we don't take action, how to change behavior to get results. I mean, that's the key. If your body's not taking the action, it's not about doing more outer activities. It's about fixing what's within, right? With what is going on in your subconscious mind. So if you've been thinking about starting a business, particularly a coaching or consulting business, because you know you have something to really put out there in the world and you can help people, this is a perfect video for you. Okay, so I wrote down a couple notes and we're going to dive right into it. And before we go into what we're going to talk about today, if you want to enter the free drawing, every month I give away a digital copy of one of my books. I've got 4 books, but I'm highlighting these 2. My latest one, the La Dolce Vita Formula. You could actually go to fearlessandfabulousbook.com if you want to purchase the physical or digital copy, but I'm actually raffling these off every month. And then this One Woman on Fire Entrepreneur. So anyways, one of the reasons why I like to do that is I just want to give back. And giving back in small, but I feel big way. I know books can change people's lives, especially women, because I work with a lot of women. I like to do something, for those people that are actually watching these videos and commenting on it. So really quickly, subscribe to the video or my channel if you haven't. Thumbs up. Thumbs up allows other women just like you to find this video. And you comment below which book you want. Woman on Fire or La Dolce Vita. And at the end, what I do is I look at the last calendar day of the month and I pick my winner. I just pick it randomly. So set your intentions and maybe you'll be a winner. And I'll let you know. I'll actually message you on the comments if you've won. Okay, so let's talk about how to build a coaching or consulting business from scratch. Heather, how do I do it? I'm in my head. I'm feeling overwhelmed. There's so many different things that you can do. I'm going to walk you through that formula. So stay tuned. Okay. So one of the very first things that you want to do, and I found this over the years, like you might see ads on Facebook, maybe here on YouTube, with kind of selling you a vision of, hey, you can make millions of dollars. And of course you can. And they'll give you a lot of what I call the marketing gurus, will market in a way that it really pulls your heartstrings, and you invest in these programs and they don't work. You know why they don't work? Because it's a copy and paste formula. I have found doing this over 15 years that doesn't work. You know what works? Is number one, identifying what your superpower is in what you would be selling, coaching and consulting. Following someone's formula, copy and paste, I find doesn't work. So you might ask, okay, Heather, what do you mean by that? My superpower? Well, one of the things that you want to do is identify your top three highest values. Your top three highest values, you can actually transform that into cash. Okay. So your wealth potential is wrapped up right now as you are watching this video in your top three highest values. Now, I'm going to put a link to that video below on how to identify your top three highest values. Okay. Now, I am going to go really quickly, like a shortcut, on how, let's just say you found your top three highest values. Let's just say one of them was your mindset. Like, wow, I really feel like I have this knowledge in helping people with their mindset, or I've worked on my mindset. That's kind of general, okay? So you really want to get more specific if you were doing that, or if you were, let's just say, a fitness coach. So years ago, I actually started out my career doing fitness, and I had a program that focused on the mind-body connection. And so what was happening is that I was helping women to master their mind so that they could permanently lose body fat and create their ideal body. I actually wrote a book on it, and I have an audio program. You can go to my site, heatherpiggin.com. You can learn more about that. But anyways, as my values change, right, because your values can change over time, and I talk about that all the time, I wanted to expand my vision. I wanted to really focus more on helping women entrepreneurs, more specifically coaches and consultants, with my brand. And so I got more specific and focused on that. And there was many versions of that. First, I started focusing more on the marketing, but I realized I was not really passionate about that. And this is where the copy and paste formula comes in that you don't want to follow. When you follow a coaching model that doesn't really resonate with you, if they say, well, you should do this, right? When it doesn't feel in alignment with who you are, it's not going to transform in the cash form. Okay. It's not going to transform. Why? Because you're not being true to yourself. You're not following your highest formula, which is your highest values. When you follow your highest values, you will manifest in your highest values. And I talk about that all the time when I work with clients and in my group programs, is that, following your highest values is how you set goals, how you define your business and brand, and how you can be a leader, a fearless leader, and an innovator, or I should say innovator in your industry. So let's go back to some examples. Let's just say, okay, my highest value is working out. I'm going to take you back to when I found, one of my highest values during the time was it being a fitness coach. Now, here's how my highest values became fitness, because for many years, I struggled with my weight. I beat myself up. I was just so distraught by how I looked. And no matter what I could do, no matter what I did, I could never lose the weight or release the weight. Let's say release the weight. I could never get to my ideal body and size. And I would follow the mechanistic forms and formulas of what I feel in my mind is a copy and paste formula that didn't work for my body. And I'm like, is there something wrong with my body? Like, am I just never going to achieve my ideal body? And so this just became like a big void for me. So your voids, whatever you perceive is missing, like you're seeking knowledge and information, creates a high value. And you know that by the action that you take. So I go into bigger detail or greater detail in that video below. So anyways, what was really interesting is that I wanted to master it. I wanted to master my body. And so what happened is I did a lot of trial and error. I find some of the best coaches and consultants are ones that have been through the trenches, the trials and the tribulations, especially, when it comes to any kind of coaching. But sometimes I look at like these personal trainers at some of these gyms. And, you know, I look at them, I'm like, yeah, they probably had a perfect life. I mean, I don't know, I should not judge, but I'm just saying those trainers that have never had to go through any body issues, and then they just give you a template to follow, a copy and paste model, and you're wondering, why is this not working for me? So I'm someone through experience and through experience and experimentation, that I was going to find a formula that worked for me. And so I started doing that, formulating, and what was really interesting is that I was presented with a challenge, and that challenge was entering a bodybuilding contest. Now, here in my mind is going, how am I going to be disciplined? Like, how am I going to give up my chunky monkey ice cream, right, and pizza? I just don't know if I can do it. But what's interesting is that when I was watching these women on stage, I went to one of my first bodybuilding competitions, and I just saw how chiseled they were and how lean they were. And I know you're probably watching this and Heather, I would never want to look like a bodybuilder. And that's fine. You know, everyone has their ideal form in mind of what their ideal body is. But the story I'm sharing with you is that I was so inspired by seeing these women on stage that I found my fire. I found my fire and my desire. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And so in my first competition, my first bodybuilding competition, I placed third. And I remember holding on to that trophy. And it imprinted a very powerful memory that allowed my subconscious mind to change. It's like, if I can do this to my body, if I can transform my body, what else can I do? And so that led me to be a teacher and coach and mentor, specifically for other women to create their ideal body. Now, what's interesting is that as I was pursuing it, I didn't really understand the mind-body connection at the time. So what was interesting is first I was leading with food, nutrition, and exercise, which is definitely important, but I was leaving out that component. So it's kind of like, if you're just marketing in your business and you're not mastering your mindset, you're never going to get the ROI that you want. You're never going to get the return on your investment. I've done this for many years, over 15 years, and yes, I'm still 20, still 20. But I've done this for many years. And I know that there's a specific formula that is repeatable. If you get the mind right, your business and your body will follow 100%, unwavering. Okay. We have the science to prove it. So anyways, I realized after I would work with these women, you know, some of them got results. And then there was those ones that, you know, were not really, you know, getting 100%, or what I thought, you know, as far as reaching their potential. They would give me excuses. Oh, I didn't have time. And you know, time is just an excuse, right? You always have time for what you value. So anyways, I started like looking back to see, well, what really worked for me? And it was my mindset. It was seeing myself in my ideal body. And so I started creating an entire program on how you can connect your mind to achieve your ideal body. And I would have these workshops in my office, and these women were like cutting back their sugar. I had one woman in one of my programs that had like 20 cans of soda a day. Do you know how much sugar is in 20 cans of soda? It's a lot. It is a lot. I forget how many tablespoons. I used to do demos about how much sugar is in one can of soda. But anyways, as soon as she dropped that, you know, I helped her reprogram her subconscious mind. I never told her to cut it out. She automatically, through my subconscious programming that I was teaching her, was actually just, you know, she was drinking less and less every week. So she cut it down to 1, and I think none. It was down to 0, and she lost a lot of weight as a result. And so that told me that my genius zone, I could package my expertise in something that was very specific. And that was a little bit different than other people were doing at that time. I mean, there are a lot of fitness coaches out there that do focus on nutrition and training, but I had a very unique way in which I was doing it. And so it was really cool. I was focusing more on the mindset, exactly what I teach my clients today when building a business from scratch, right? Or building a 7-figure business. And then of course you need the strategy. You need the overall strategy. But I found that sweet spot, and I realized that there was a value, like, what else could I do? How else could I expand my business vision and brand? But step number one is I knew my highest values because of my voice. I got clear. I dialed in my clarity of my niche. Now, my thing too is that because I'm actually expanding my global business and brand, not just for coaches and consultants, but to a mass marketable audience. I'm not going to focus and share like how you should do that right now. I just want to focus on when building a coaching and consulting business, what I feel has worked in getting really clear and really specific on what your highest values are, right? And asking yourself the question, like, what is really unique about me? So this means activating your superpowers. Like, what is it that I feel I am designed to do on this planet Earth? And, take some time to start writing this down. In my program, I teach exactly how to do this step by step, or if I'm working with someone one-on-one, it's really easy. It doesn't take years to figure this out. You just need some structure. So we're talking about it today, giving you the template of what I find, how this makes sense, especially if you're starting from scratch. Okay, so that's number one. I want to go into right now some of the mistakes coaches are making from building a business from scratch. Okay, so if you find you have to get like multiple certifications before you can charge, think you have to figure everything out, that is blocking you. When I first started, I remember, like, in my business now, I just had an idea of a program I wanted to do, and I would just put it out there, and I would get people into the program. I have never had that I can recall, like, that perfection paralysis. I've always done the opposite. And there's good and bad to that, right? So if you just kind of throw anything out there, sometimes it could blow up in your face, and it has, right? I'll be honest, it has. But the beauty in just putting yourself out there and changing it as you go, you can get faster traction, right? But I'm just giving you the steps. I didn't know this before, when I was doing it. When I was doing it in my fitness business, I didn't understand that I was creating this specific avatar for the ideal clients that I wanted, using my highest values, right? Using my superpowers. So anyways, you want to follow that, and you don't want to make mistakes of, well, I have to get so many years of experience and blah, 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 whatever. You don't want to do that. I mean, should you get some training? Absolutely. Absolutely. But you don't want to get stuck in paralysis. I will say the benefit of ongoing education, which I do all the time, is that you get to charge the highest amount for this skill set that is, like, the most difficult problems to solve. And I truly believe, like, in what I'm doing, solving the complex issues of the mind, understanding human behavior and how to get people results by just understanding this. To me, that's a superpower. So you might not believe that you have the value and worth that you do. So don't get in your head. You just got to keep moving forward, and you'll start fleshing it out. You'll start getting clear on the kinds of clients that you should be working with, right? Another thing is, what you don't want to do is you don't want to charge what you're not worth, right? So this is a value issue. You want to own your value. A lot of times women have they have such an issue owning their value and earning your worth. And this is a subconscious program. So when I use neuroplasticity and medicine to remodeling the brain, when I do that with my clients, they own the value and the worth, and then they get the high paying clients. So don't cheapen yourself. Believe that you are worthy and deserving. Another thing you don't want to do in your coaching and consulting business when you're building it from scratch is charging by the hour. Do not, I repeat, do not charge by the hour. Why? Number one, I find it's really challenging for clients just to get results from one session. especially if they're just starting out. Number two, I find, so number one, it's like a disservice to your clients. It's also a disservice to you because you're not maximizing your profitability. Okay. The fastest path to generate your first high paying client is to sell it into a package or program. You know that you can make your first 100,000, your first six figures very quickly. It does not have to take a year. You just need the right strategy and accountability. And of course, you need to master your sales. We'll talk about that in a second. But I just really want you to get this. Like, don't get in your head. Okay, I know you're probably getting in your head. But it can really be easy if you follow this formula I'm telling you about. What you don't want to do, another mistake, another mistake I see is that coaches and consultants say, okay, I am going to write a book and I'm going to build my business around a book. Now, I have written 4 books so far. It takes time to write your books. It takes money to market your book in the right way if you want to make a profit, right? There's so many factors. You got the writing, you got to hire an editor. An editor is thousands of dollars, trust me. So you got to have marketing funnels. I mean, there's just so many things. You got to have your mind aligned, of course. But why do you want to do that when I can tell you how to make or how to attract your first high-paying coaching client by following this formula? So don't get distracted by a book because you feel that you need to create this distraction, which it is. Don't do that. I feel a lot of times coaches are doing that, or they're selling so I'm talking about like a physical book. So if you are new to the coaching consulting world, don't write a book first to get clients. Don't do that. Okay. There's better ways that you can attract clients. So what I'm suggesting is that you follow these steps and don't make these mistakes. Another mistake is writing an ebook. Don't think you're going to write an ebook and also get coaching and consulting clients from scratch right away. Can you get clients from writing a book or an ebook? Absolutely, you can. I'm not negating that. I'm just saying your fastest path. If you're saying, Heather, how do I get my first 10K month? I am giving you the formula straight up. There's so much noise out there. I just want to make it simple. I want to clear yourself from feeling overwhelmed. So all of these things are distractions. So that doesn't mean there's no validity in writing a book. There is a stage and phase in which you want to do that. Okay. Just like you shouldn't put a webinar up if you don't have any people watching the webinar. So a lot of people, they just don't know, right? They just don't know. And they're following shiny object after shiny object. So you don't want to make those mistakes. Okay. So now let's talk about what I find, honestly, from you launching your coaching or consulting business. You know what it is? It's fear. It's fear. You're afraid that maybe you're not smart enough, right? You have the imposter syndrome, right? You might be familiar with that. I will tell you, I work with some very smart women. Some of my most successful clients, 7-figure earners that I've helped them to reach 7 figures, they had this exact issue. And how they got to make 7 figures, my coaches this layer of fear, this fear, this fear of needing approval or thinking that I'm not good enough to put myself and my work out there. So once you break through that fear, you're going to show up in a bigger way and you will attract coaching clients. You know why? Because when you break through that layer of fear, you're going to feel confident. When you feel confident, you're going to share with people what you do, whether it be online or offline. So you want to identify what are those fears, what's really holding me back? Is it the imposter syndrome? Is it, I don't feel like I'm smart enough? Or if I put myself out there, what are my friends or family going to say? What happens if I fail, right? Or maybe I have a fear of success. So I'm going to drop a video below on overcoming fear and anxiety. I am an expert on understanding on how to do that. But if you fail to do this, if you fail to break through the fear, you will never launch your coaching business, right? So can you see how the marketing strategies, that's noise? It's noise. It's secondary. You have to get clear. You have to get clear on your fearless vision and what you do and how you can transform the lives of people, and then break through those fears, right? When you do that, taking action on the marketing, honestly, is not hard. It's not hard. So that is something we thought. So after we talk about the fears, the next thing is you want to, like, let's just say you found what you want to do. So I'm going to go with the fitness coach. Okay, so let's just say, Heather, I think I know what I want to do. It's fitness coaching, but you're still kind of not really certain on who you should focus. Should I focus on men and women, right? Who should I focus on? What I recommend is taking a week to do research. A lot of people skip this phase because they don't think that, or I should say, they're not aware of the impact. So when you're researching, what happens is you're activating the executive center in your brain to find new resources, new downloads to your brain, new ideas, and maybe something that you've never thought about. So when I do this in one session with my clients, literally they get immediate clarity. Sometimes we do a couple tweaks, but I find that, going through the research phase is going to be valuable. It's going to be so valuable, and you're going to feel clear. When you get clear on what you're doing with your coaching business, that's when the clients appear. So just write this down. When you get clear, clients appear. I like to tell people to tattoo that in their brain. The clearer that I get, the more cash will flow, right? Or when I get clear, the clients appear. When I get clear, the clients appear. When I get clear, the clients appear. So you do yourself a favor by taking the time out and getting clear. This is no different if you were to attract your ideal relationship. This is exactly what I did to attract my ideal relationship, my fiance, is I got clear. Why did I get clear? Because I was attracting all the wrong relationships. I was attracting these guys that I was dating that were a mismatch. So as soon as I dialed in and got clarity, it was like 2 weeks later that I met my soulmate, right? So it's kind of a nice, fun little story about the power in getting clear. So once you do that, and I will say this, is one of the things that I recommend doing in tuning in. I'm a big believer in connecting to your intuition. And your intuition is that nudge. It's not a place of fear. It's like a gentle voice. You will be guided to specific signs that show up in different forms. It could be showing up in email, on Facebook. When you're out and about, you can overhear it in a conversation where you connect with clarity in your business, specifically for your coaching or consulting niche. Or maybe you're out in a or you're at a party and you're having a conversation, and the conversation you're having, like, oh my gosh, this is my ideal client. I know exactly who I need to serve. But I find if you bypass this, you're going to miss out on something big. You're going to miss out on your genius zone. So make sure you do that. So be open to receive. You also want to put, I go back and forth with deadlines. I like to say like loose timelines, because a deadline, that kind of feels harsh, right? Kind of feels severe. A loose timeline, because I do believe in having some kind of end in mind with a goal date, is that when you do that, your brain, it's just like if you're going on vacation. If you know you're going on vacation, you get everything done right before you go on vacation, right? You know who you are. You want to train your brain to do the same thing in getting clear on your vision. So you want to do that. And then the next thing you want to do is pricing. Figure out, so a lot of times, remember I said, I repeat, do not do one-off sessions. You're doing yourself a disservice. Do not do that. Okay, do not do that. So you want to, you want to make sure that you package your programs in a way of how much time does it really take to get my ideal client's results? So if I'm using the fitness example, is it 30 days? Is it 60 days? Is it 90 days? So you want to figure that out and just make it simple and design a program based on that first initial result. For beginning coaches and consultants, I really shy away from you doing a longer program like 6 months and a year. And the reason why is that if you don't have enough experience, you might get burned out. Number one, you might not know how to handle it. I also like shorter programs. I've done both. I've done year-long programs. Right now, I'm in the phase of doing shorter programs. I do programs for corporations; those are different. But I'm just focusing on you creating some kind of program. Maybe it's 30, 60, or 90 days, right? So, question: how long does it take to get this result? Don't. What if you say, "Well, Heather, I normally get clients' results in one session." Well, guess what? So do I. But if you're smart, and I know you're smart, what you want to do is you want to create a series of sessions, have a follow-up, because I find that even though you might solve one problem in one session, there's always going to be other issues that come up, other desires that want to be birthed. So you want to create some kind of program. Step number one. You want to also, in your program, know what that offer, know what the end result or outcome is, and being really specific. So if I were focusing on fitness, maybe I'm offering someone a 30-day accelerated program, boot camp program. Maybe that's both online and offline. If I was, if it was local, I mean, you can do these things online as well, strictly online, where, they're going to get a 30-day program with training, nutrition. Maybe they're dropping one size in 30 days, which is totally doable. So depending on how much weight they have, how disciplined, there's so many different factors. I'm not going to go into it, but you get the picture. What you don't want to do, let's just say the person needs to lose 60 pounds. Do not make an outcome they're going to lose 60 pounds in a month, right? So you want to make it doable, also based on their values, right? And you might find that the outcome is different for each individual if you're doing one-on-one, right? So take a temperature on that. So after you're clear on the outcome, the next step, and I know you might be scared, but it's okay. You want to master the art of high-end sales. I absolutely love sales. I actually did not like sales. When I first started out, I was so in my head, but I've mastered it. I mastered it because number one, I don't think about sales as quote unquote being salesy. That to me is a belief. Sales is about transformation. You're giving someone the gift of transforming whatever area of life that you're specializing in, right? We talked about the 7 areas of life. What area are you specializing in where you have expertise? And if you don't feel you have expertise, you're just not looking hard enough, right? You're not focusing on your superpower. You want to make sure. Excuse me. So again, sales, it is a mindset. I have trained people that felt they were train wrecks when it came to sales. And literally in 1 week, I trained them to get their first high-end sale of 5,000. So if you're like, Heather, I hate sales, well, guess what? Everything you do in life is a sale. A sale. Someone told you along the way, this is how beliefs are formed, that somehow money was bad, and I'm pushing someone. Get over yourself, girlfriend. Get over yourself. And I'm kind of joking. I like to joke. But get over yourself. You know why? You're actually doing a disservice by you not getting service out there. You could change people's lives. So stop being selfish, right? You're being selfish. But if you need additional help in sales, I urge you to join one of my programs. I love sales. I can train anyone in sales to sell high end as long as you go through the steps. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. It is not hard. It is literally a mental shift in what you must do in your brain. And of course, there are specific steps that you take people through. But here's what I want you to think about is that, when you're transforming someone's life, you're actually adding value to their life. You're actually extending their life. I don't care what area of life it is, because they feel confident. So just know it's mastering your inner game. And I look at sales as like having a conversation. So like, let's just say if you reached out to me and said, Heather, I really want to know about your options, your programs and that sort of thing. Maybe you're afraid to reach out to me. Number one, I don't push anyone into something that I don't feel that they will take action on. Because why would I want to work with someone that I have to drag along, right? And I also want to deeply connect with the right people. Like, I want to know about you, like what lights you up, how I can be a service to you. To me, it really is like having a conversation with a friend. And that is not like, to me, it's not quote unquote salesy. When you think about quote unquote salesy, you know what you're thinking about? You're thinking about that used car salesman, which I remember years ago living in LA. I was buying a new car, and man, I felt that. I'm like, oh, this is why people don't like sales. So you can change that. You can transform that program. You need the right mindset. You need the right strategy. But failure to master your mindset, I guarantee you'll never sustain and grow your coaching business. You will not get your coaching business off the ground. You'll never make your first 100,000 or go to that next level. So my first goal for you would obviously for year one to make 6 figures. You can actually do it less than a year. I know when I first started, I did it in a few months. But again, I was in the trenches, training, failing, getting out of my own way. And of course, I hired a mentor. That's fast track. Okay, so we talked about sales mastery, and we talked about, I want to make sure I went over everything. We talked about the shorter programs, the simple outcomes. And the plan. Okay, so you might be asking, okay, Heather, I get an idea now of how to build my program from scratch. Do I need a website? What do I do? Oh my gosh. Don't get caught up in having to be on all platforms in the beginning. Okay, expand your reach, and here's why. I have worked with clients building their coaching and consulting business from scratch with no website. Okay, you need a website? Yeah, you do eventually. But I want to tell you, you're creating a barrier for yourself. You're giving yourself excuses because you feel like you have to have everything done. So don't make that a deterrent. If you really like, oh, I need some kind of presence, the simplest thing to do is to get a landing page with a giveaway, with your branding, some pictures, or a one-page website that you can develop over time. You do not have to pay a lot of money to get someone to build a website. One of my hacks that I tell my clients to do is go on Fiverr. You can get a website for like 50 to 100 bucks, just a starter website. So it's like a glorified business card, a virtual business card online. Now, that doesn't mean you don't develop it over time, but I'm talking to you, those of you that are just looking to start your coaching or consulting business. Now, I'm going to put a link below, a video that I did on how to attract high-end coaching clients. So that's a strategy. Now that you're like, okay, here's what I need to do. I need to get clear. Thinking about the pricing. One thing I will say about the pricing, you might ask, well, Heather, how much should I charge? That is dependent on how you own your value. You're owning your value is perception, and it's a shift that you must make in your brain. So I always tell clients to start with where you're at. That's doable, but a stretch, and you can always upgrade. Okay, when I first started out, I was only charging like a couple $100 for like 10 weeks, which was like nothing. I charged way more than that. But I started somewhere. Every successful person starts from somewhere. So I teach people more how to attract high-end coaching clients. So you're not going to be charging $100 or $200 for your 6-week program. Okay, you're not going to do it, or at least if you're working with me. What you want to do is, you want to start off with at least 2,000 and beyond. I've coached people to attract more than that, obviously, $30,000 programs, $100,000 programs, but those people are more seasoned, okay? Not to say for starting out that you can't charge that, because what if you have a highly specialized expertise that is very rare, and you could charge that as long as you know how to hold the conversation and ask the right questions, which I do extensive training on. I've helped people build their businesses by me training their sales team because I understand the psychology behind sales, right? So anyways, just make it simple. Start with 2000 for your program, and it's doable, but it's stretch, right? It's doable, but stretch. What if you're living in a different country? You know, that is a good question. Like I have clients all around the world, and sometimes they're like, oh, da, 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 da. You know, well, to me, here's what I want you to think about. Anything and everything is possible. You may want to do more of a group type of program that is a lower end cost, but it's cost affordable, right? But it's still kind of like middle ground or higher end. You still focus on your elite clients. And here's why. I think if you're coming from a country who doesn't have a high economic worth, right, high value, is that you're doing a disservice by not raising their standards, right? I truly believe as leaders, we can transform our cities, our countries, our nations, but it starts with us. We have to raise our standards. So I have an exercise that I take clients through in owning their value. Anytime you want to raise your prices, I take that person through it, or they do it on their own. So that way they can confidently go out, charge what they're worth, you know, what they really feel they're aligned with, and get it 100%. So I hope this video helped you today. If you're looking to start your coaching or consulting business from scratch, just realize that, you know, everyone on this planet has a purpose, and you can profit from your purpose. You just need to get clear. You need a roadmap. I just took you through it. I talked about some of the links down below. If you found this video to be helpful, make sure you give it the thumbs up, because more women find out about this video. Comment in the comment box or the comments which video, or if you want to be in the drawing for one of my books, just type in the name of the book. And make sure you subscribe, because you can be notified every week when I release new videos. And if you need help, if you're looking to start a new coaching or consulting business, let me know. Drop me a line. There are several ways to get in touch with me with these links below. We can have a chat. I will be honest if I think you're a good fit for the program or not. I will be honest because I would be doing a disservice to you if I just said, no, join. I'm not desperate. Trust me, I'm not desperate. But I want to be of service to you. And sometimes it's not working with me. Sometimes it's like, hey, start off with a book, start off with my home study program, and then we'll talk. Okay, until next time, this is Heather Pickin, and live fearlessly. Take care.